It's your girl, Lady Mocha. You know I'm always going to pour you a cup of truth, and I'm always going to break you off a slice of knowledge. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Cafe de Paris. Thank you for stopping to dine in with your girl, Lady Mocha. I thank you guys. I thank all of my followers for stopping in and tuning in with me. I want to give a shout out to one of my followers who reached out to me, King Arrow 305. He reached out to your girl, wanted to help edit my videos. So big ups to him. So from here on out, I'm quite sure most of the videos that you see me do, he's going to be the one editing it. So I want to give a shout out to him. And if anybody who's interested in getting someone to edit their videos or whatever, hit me up, email me. I would be glad to give you his information. Want to give a shout out to all of my faithful followers. I want to thank all of you guys, because I know that my camera is not top of the line right now. I know the quality is pretty fuzzy, and I'm not up to date on the technology like most of these vloggers are. But keep in mind, I'm new to the game. I'm still an infant in vlogging, so I'm learning my way, and trust and believe I'm getting to that point to where I'm planning on getting a better camera and everything I need to make my videos more of quality. But I thank y'all for still standing by your girl and still sticking with your girl, even though I'm not on that level with a lot of these vloggers who done been in the game for a long time. So I thank you. But like you, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, there's some, like, for example, there's some restaurants out there. You may have that one restaurant in the hood, okay? For example, there's this Chinese restaurant in Savannah called Savannah Fried Chicken, okay? This particular Chinese restaurant has been in business since I've been a little girl, and I'm going on 38 years old. That's how it's been in business longer than that, okay? Because my uncle eats there too, and he said it's been in business since he's been a little girl, and he's almost in his middle 50s. So you can imagine how long that particular Chinese restaurant has been there. But to this day, they serve the best fried chicken, the best fried rice. I mean, them lines still be long, okay? And believe it or not, that restaurant is so behind the times. They don't have a debit machine. They don't have the where you could order online, put your order in online. They are so far behind the times, so it is just crazy, okay? They don't have none of that state-of-the-art stuff like these restaurants have, where you could put in your order online, and when you go inside the establishment, they don't have the flat screen TV where you can sit down and eat your food and watch a flat screen TV. They got old tables, old seats in there, probably older than George Washington. I mean, stuff is just old, but the food is so good and it's so banging. And you know what? The customers don't even care. They still come in and order their food. They got to pay cash for it, of course, because ain't no debit card machine and all that other stuff. And you can even tell the cooks are hella old, but their food is still good. And that's how it is with Cafe de Paris. I may be behind on the times as far as the state-of-the-art camera equipment, but guess what? My recipes are going to be good. My topics are going to definitely fulfill your appetite. So, sometimes it's worth investing in the things that's up to par and state-of-the-art. But I'm like this, as long as the food is good for your soul, as long as the topics are banging, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know we've been in restaurants where the atmosphere has been pretty fancy, nice tables, nice chairs, state-of-the-art flat screen TVs and everything, but the food is horrible and the customer service is horrible. It's like you don't give a damn about how how nice the establishment looks and how fancy it is. You're not going to put your money there if the food is poor quality and the service is poor quality. You know what I'm saying? So I thank all of my followers for being faithful and still tuning into my videos. So I want to give a shout out to all of you, and again I want to give a shout out to King Arrow 305 for looking out for your girl. I'm going to go ahead and move on. In today's recipe, we're talking about relationship killers. What is killing your relationships? Yes, it's a lot of relationship killers out there, okay? I thought it was very imperative for me to do a topic on this because It's a lot of us that are in relationships that we know are failing and that we know are not progressing. And sadly, a lot of us don't know why the relationships we are in are not progressing. What is killing your relationship? Why the relationships we're in don't seem to be getting better, and maybe you don't know what's the cause of it. So of course, as my job, your girl Lady Mocha, I had to do my research so I could break down all of the elements down to the lowest common denominator, because y'all know how I operate. When I do my topics, I break it down bit by small little boxes, okay? I leave nothing uncovered, okay? So we're going to go directly into that. A lot of the videos that I have been doing have been straight off the dome. I have not written anything hardly for the majority of videos I've done. I think maybe 2 or 3 videos I probably wrote notes, but the majority of them I do not write. It comes straight off of my head, which is good, but I felt like after reviewing a lot of my own videos, I've been kind of going all over the place, and, I'm my own worst critic. So I'm constantly looking at my videos and saying, you know what, I need to work on that. I need to do this. I should have reiterated more on that, and vice versa. So I've decided that, I'm going to be reading from my notes. That way I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I just ask all of you to bear with me. But we're going to go ahead on with relationship killers, okay? Relationships fail to succeed for various reasons, but there are certain reasons that stand out more than others. Maybe you're aware that you are in an unhealthy relationship but not sure of the reason. So I'm going to break down all of the relationship killers, okay? I have 10 things that are the main causes of relationships being killed, okay? Starting with number 1. The number 1 relationship killer is, drum rolls please, money. Yes, money is the number 1 relationship killer, okay? The reason why is because, unfortunately, if you have too much money, it can create problems, but living in poverty is definitely a Debbie Downer as well. I know you're thinking too much money. How is that a relationship killer? Look into the Hollywood world. If money was the answer to long-lasting love, why all these celebrities having more divorces than JCPenney is having sales and clearances, okay? There's a saying that loyalty shows its true colors when a man has everything, and a woman's loyalty displays its true colors when she's down to nothing. So on that note, money unfortunately has a way of bringing out the worst in some folks, okay? And the reason for that is because couples with money are more prone to divorce, because money has a way of making people feel as long as they have a dollar, they don't need to humble themselves. It's pretty much one of those things where, all relationships have problems, but when you both know y'all are in a good place financially, and at the end of the day, if both of you were to go y'all separate ways, really neither one of you stand a chance of really losing anything. So that makes you less determined or less motivated to want to fight for the relationship. It's one of those things where, hey, I got my millions, you got your millions. Let's go put this house up for auction. You get your 300,000, I get my 300,000, and we move on, and that's the tricky part about money. You know what I mean? Money, that's why it's so much divorce in the Hollywood world, because really at the end of the day, as long as you have money, your struggle is not going to keep the relationship motivated, and unfortunately that's one of the bad things about, having money in a relationship. As for couples with less income, they are more prone to working things out. Struggles have a way of keeping folks together because it's basic common sense. You both depend on one another, so that's what keeps the relationship progressing. Neither one of you are in a position to just walk out on each other every time the relationship has a challenge. Okay, I definitely want to go more into this, okay? Struggles do have a way of keeping folks together. And I'm not just talking financially. Okay. When both of you know y'all have put in a lot of work to keep your relationship going, it kind of puts you in a position of where you realize that if so much has been invested and you really want to think twice before you just throw in a towel and you give up everything you both have had to struggle for. For example, it's been many times where me and my husband was not always in a good place in our marriage, and we both, as grown adults, I had the right to walk out and say, you know what, this is too much, I'm not going to deal. And he had the same privilege as well. He had that option. We both had the option to walk out and leave. Neither one of us was holding the other one hostage, okay? But we realized all of what we had gone through together to keep this relationship going, and realized that it was not worth just walking out on each other and just dropping everything just because we were having a few challenges and we were having some conflicts. When we look at all of what we have invested, we've been together for 17 years. We purchased a home together that we both struggled for, okay? The home we bought, it wasn't given to us. We didn't hit no lottery or anything. It took a lot of years of being dedicated, struggling, fighting to keep the home together. All the work we put into the house to fix it up. I put in money, he put in money, I put in time, he put in time. Not only that, the fact that we had a sixth daughter together that needed the both of us. There was so many things that so many different trials and tribulations we both experienced that gave us the tenacity to keep fighting and keep striving to better ourselves as a husband and as a wife and to keep our relationship going. And again, all of that came from struggles. We remembered in the wintertime when the heater wasn't working, when we stayed in the old house before we moved in this one. How the heater wasn't working and we both was bundled under a blanket together because the house was so cold. How, at one time when he was the only one working before he progressed with his roofing company, he wasn't making a whole lot of money, you know what I mean? So we went through pluckers, we went through cars breaking down and running hard on us on the highway. It was a lot of things we had gone through. We struggled together, and the struggles that we had gone through, that is what made us appreciate each other, because everything we went through was through hardships. Nobody stepped in and helped us, really. We family and friends supported us here and there, looked out for us when they could. But for the most part, we had to endure all of those struggles together. And that's what kept us humble. That's what made us realize, that, hey, we could always fall short at any time. So we had to be humble to one another because we went through so many struggles, and that's the bonus of being a couple who has struggled together and has not always had money. Couples, on the other hand, who have always had money and who've always been well off, again, they are less driven to want to fight for their relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they know they got their money. I don't have to take your nonsense. I got my money in the bank. You got your money in the bank. Just money has a way of making people really smell themselves, and money has a way of making people less humble. You know what I'm saying? But when you both know y'all are in the struggle together, there are more chances of y'all fighting to try to make the relationship work. Okay, so that's just something we definitely want to keep in mind, that sometimes money has a way of just bringing out the worst in people. Okay, now keep in mind, though, on the other hand, let's not think that struggling couples are the happier couples either. Like I always tell you guys, there's a balance to everything. Many couples have divorced based on the lack of finances, which is also a relationship killer. It doesn't necessarily mean the couple is struggling because they are poor, but there are too many couples living beyond their means. Honey, let me tell you guys something. It is so many couples, unfortunately, that have missed out on so much because they have placed more responsibilities on their relationships that they really could bear. A lot of it's so many couples around here that are adding more responsibilities. They have so many responsibilities on their marriage or their relationship that they really can't even enjoy their relationship. They can't enjoy it because the responsibilities outweigh the relationship. It's so many couples that are in debt, you guys. They got big houses that they can't afford to pay the mortgage on every month. They have expensive vehicles where they can't afford to keep up with the note. It's some couples that have so many children that they can't afford to take care of. It's hard for them to work because they cannot afford childcare. So the man and the woman, both of them are stressed out between all the kids, between all the bills, between all the debts and all of the responsibilities. So, living beyond your means has caused a lot of relationships to fail and has created a lot of divorces because so many couples try to live bigger than what they are, okay? And knowing their relationship, their household really cannot afford it. And women, we have this thing where we are constantly comparing ourselves to other couples. We see our neighbors down the street. There's a lady on our job, 2017 Range Rover, and her husband has a 2017 Ford F350 or 450 or whatever. And you look at all of these couples that are living the American dream, and so badly women, we desire to have that American dream. And I think just about every woman feels that way. Every woman wants that big house with the picket fence, the cat, the dog, the kids. Everybody, some women still believe in that Leave It to Beaver fantasy thing where there's this perfect world and they have everything, and we all know the reality. It doesn't go that way. So a lot of us, a lot of couples will go out there and invest in all type of financial burdens that they know they can't afford because they want to live that American dream, okay? And you have some men who try so hard to please their wives, so badly want to make sure their wives are happy. There's a lot of men who have put themselves in debt trying to make their wives happy, knowing that they really couldn't afford it, knowing he really couldn't afford that big old home. And then in some cases, the man could afford it, but his habits have costed the family to really lose. Whether those habits were gambling or messing with other women or habits have a way of costing you. Whether you gamble, you mess with other women, you drink too much, or you a shady investor, you a high risk gambler, you take chances on putting big money out there. You've always done it. You've always, invested in things without doing your research, without doing your math, and it has costed you and your family thousands. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of relationships, unfortunately, that are suffering because that couple has been living way beyond their means. They really couldn't afford that big house. They really couldn't afford to have all of those children. They couldn't afford all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, instead of them being honest about it and being in reality with their circumstances, it's a lot of couples who are miserable, and because they are way in over their heads. They have too much financial burdens, okay? And this all boils down to money. Money, again, is the number one killer. Either you have too much money, which makes you less prone to want to stay in a relationship and try to work it out and be committed to one another, or y'all don't have enough of money. A lot of people divorce over that. Okay, because they're so stressed out. They got all these bills, all these debts, all of these children, and they can't really even enjoy their marriage. They can't even enjoy each other because the burdens have outweighed the marriage, have outweighed the relationship. So money is the number one killer. What is killing your relationship? This actually should have been number one. I don't know what the hell I was thinking about when I made this number two. In-laws. Yes, family is the number one relationship killer, and I know a lot of y'all out here can agree with your girl on this one. Most marriages or relationships are disapproved 80% of the time by in-laws. Keep in mind that when you marry that individual, you marry that family. Okay? Don't fall for the okie doke that, baby, it's just me and you against the world. It's just going to always be me and you. We don't need nobody else. All we have is each other. That is so not true. keep in mind that when you are married or committed to that person, guess what? You are married and committed to that person's family, whether you want to believe it or not, okay? Families come as a package deal. You can't separate them. You can't have one without the other, okay? So just trust and believe that family is a package deal, okay? You and your companion must accept your differences in your upbringing. And this is true. Keep in mind, both of y'all are two different individuals. I don't care how much y'all love each other. I don't care how much y'all support each other. You both are still different. It don't matter if you've been together 10 years. It don't matter if you've been in 20, 30 years. You still are different individuals, okay? Because you both come from two totally different worlds, okay? You know, me and my husband come from two totally different worlds. I'm a city girl. Okay, I was a military brat. My dad raised me in up north in New York. So between New York and Connecticut, I traveled a lot. My father is one of my dads. He's a retired Coast Guard chief. So by me being a military brat, I traveled a lot. Okay, my husband, on the other hand, he's a straight country boy. Okay, he was born and raised in South Carolina. Okay, so that made us totally different, two totally different worlds, okay? And it took a lot of maturity and growth for us to be able to adjust and be able to manage still having a relationship and balancing each other's differences, okay? Again, you have to accept each other's differences. Your family may be very religious and your mate's family may not be that religious, you know. You may have the kind of family when y'all have cookouts and stuff together, you know, y'all listen to you listen to Mississippi Mass Choir, you listen to you know, Mahalia Jackson and all of these other old time gospel you know singers, you know, and when you go to your mate's cookout, they bumping twerk music, okay, you know, they bumping Kodak Black and all of that, you know. Of course that's gonna make you feel out of your element, you know what I'm saying, because you're not from that kind of world. So when you go around your mate's family and you see that their setting is totally different from yours, you know, it can take you out of your element a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And you may feel very uncomfortable because of the way you were raised, the way you were brought up. But again, you both as mature adults, y'all have to be able to balance each other's differences, okay? So that's just, you have to keep in mind, y'all both are two totally different individuals. Nothing wrong with that. Y'all both just have to be mature enough to know how to balance it. The other issue with in-laws is too many of us are oversharing information about relationship or marital issues, which can create more drama. Family doesn't always mean harm, but they don't always mean well. This is nothing new. Okay, and this is more so, women do this more than men. Okay, when we have a problem or we have an issue at home with our husbands, with our fiancés, companions, or whatever, your baby daddy, whatever your companion is to you. Women, we don't know how to keep things sacred. Okay, we have to always vent, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, because I'm like that. When I'm going through something, I have to vent. I cannot ball it up inside. I cannot hold it inside. It makes me crazy. On the other hand, you got some women, they are highly sacred. You don't know what's going on in their house, okay? They will hold down the fort, honey. They know how to keep that smile on their face. They know how to wear that smile and put on that front like everything is wonderful. Me and my husband, we're doing so great. We're doing so wonderful. And behind closed doors, they getting down just like these women out here who do vent. They throwing dishes and throwing frying pans and catching other broads texting their phone too. You know, they just know how to handle it and hold it down a little bit better. You know, sometimes, in most cases, it is not good to air what you and your partner are going through with other family members, okay? You know, because sometimes we, you know, again, we want to be able to share what we're going through, especially if you're the kind of person that, you know, things affect you when you have to keep it bottled up inside. It makes you lose your sanity. We all have somebody out there we need to vent to. But the bad part is when it's family, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because 9 times out of 10, the same issue you're venting to your mother about, your sister about, your aunt about, whatever current issue you and your mate are going through, eventually y'all are going to resolve it, okay? It's going to resolve itself one way or another. And what happens is, while you and your man have resolved your issue, y'all trying to move on, y'all had your moment, okay, that's dead, it's over with, y'all moving on to the next issue. Well, the problem is you have already vented to your family and told them what happened. So meanwhile, you and him done got past it. Guess what? They're not past it. All right. So when you bring this man around for Thanksgiving or to your next cookout with your family or your next church convention, everybody's still looking at him hella sideways while you have forgiven him. And everybody looking at you like, yep, she's still with him. All that crying and blah, blah, blah. And she still ain't left nowhere. She's still putting up with his crap. See how bad it can get, And I understand that sometimes when you're angry at that moment, you have to vent. But you have to think and train yourself. Okay, when if we get past this? All right? When if we resolve this? Do I still want this hanging over my head because my family, my sister knows, my cousin knows? Family could mean well, could also do damage, could add more damage than what the both of you could afford, And also, it depends on who you vent to, There's nothing wrong with venting. I just think it's how you vent and who you vented to, okay? Because you got some people who you can keep it real with and you can share your issues and they can give you some words of encouragement. Well, honey, I've been down, I've been there, I've been through what you're going through. This is how you need to solve it. This is how I recommend you do it. Me and my husband went through the same thing you went through. And they can run into you 2-3 days from now and not judge you. Not even look at you sideways, whether if you decided to stay with that person or not. But you got some people on the other hand, especially the miserable ones, who already been hating on your relationship anyway, who already been waiting for you to fail, who already been waiting for the moment to arrive for y'all to walk out and leave each other. You got some people, it's sad, but you have some people that is sitting on the sideline waiting for your relationship to fail. So the moment you come to them with a problem, oh yes, they grabbing a bucket of popcorn and a large cherry coke and they all ears because they just waiting to be entertained with all of what's going wrong in your life right now. Unfortunately, everybody does not mean you well. So you have to be careful who you vent to, okay? So just be very careful when it comes to venting to your in-laws, especially. Because in-laws, you have to see them again. You have to deal with them again. It's not like somebody on your job or a friend that's out of town that you never have to see or deal with ever again. You got a chance to cut that person off if you never want to deal with them. In-laws is different because, family is different. As long as you're with the mate, you're going to always have to deal with the family, okay? Another point is in-laws are used to programming a certain way with family and vice versa. I'll get to that a little bit later. Another problem with in-laws, this is why you got to be careful, especially if you're coming in as a second wife or you're coming in as a second husband. You're coming in as a second mate, basically meaning there was another person there prior before you had entered into your companion's life. Let me tell you about the trick with this. All right. The issue with in-laws is they have already bonded with that person prior. So ladies, if you are in a relationship and you've been with this man a long time, or you just getting in a relationship with them, okay, keep in mind that first wife, that ex-wife, that first baby mama, whatever that first person was before you came along, keep in mind they still have a bond with that person. I learned that the hard way. And I'm telling you, ever since then, I've been way more discreet about what I share and who I share it with, okay? Because you have to keep in mind, there is still that bond they have with that ex-sister-in-law or ex-brother-in-law. So what happens is sometimes when you get involved in a relationship with somebody who had someone prior before they got involved with you, that's family. I don't care how much they smile. I don't care how much they laugh with you. I don't care how much potato salad and barbecue ribs they bring to your house when you're doing the cookout, or the cornbread dressing they bring in when y'all having y'all Thanksgiving dinners together. Keep in mind that they are still interacting with that ex-wife or that ex-husband. And this happens mostly with women more than anything. Again, like I always say, men, y'all are not as catty as us. So it's not too many men who do it, but it's a lot of women. If you got sister-in-laws or you have mother-in-laws, these people that are in your husband's family, keep in mind that they are still going back saying something to that ex-wife. I don't care how much they try to act like they can't stand her, they don't like her. I've gotten burnt like that. Okay, and the bad part is, again, people can bring more chaos than they do peace, to you. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody means well. Your sister-in-laws may not really like you, or may not have a care for you, or really have a hard time bonding with you because they still have a bond over here with the ex. And keep in mind that just because your man or your new boo, whatever, doesn't deal with her or has no more dealings with that ex-wife, that don't mean his family does. You have some families that are down by law and say, hey, if my brother ain't checking for you no more, I'm not going to deal with you no more like that. But you have some families that are so shady, that are so two-faced, they will go back and tell that ex-wife everything you and your husband is going through. And men, you have some cases where you may get with a woman and, her family may go back and tell her ex-husband some things that you and her go through. But the difference is with you men, y'all a little bit more diligent. Y'all really don't get involved in drama, which I wish women had that gift. Y'all don't indulge. Y'all don't entertain stuff like that. Y'all kind of like, well, as long as he ain't bothering me and he ain't disrespecting her, y'all kind of don't care. Women, on the other hand, women can be the most messiest individuals, just straight messy. So when you're dealing with in-laws, keep in mind that these sister-in-laws, these mother-in-laws, in some cases, brother-in-laws. I had some friends who had some messy brother-in-laws. You got some drama kings out there too, who was going back telling that ex-wife or telling that first baby mama, all because he was feeling you himself. You got some dirty and shady people out there who really be hating on you for all kind of undercover reasons that you wouldn't even know about. If you really knew the reason why some people be hating on you, you would be shocked. You wouldn't even be like, wow, she hating on me because of that, or he hating on me because of that. You would not believe, how many people really be hating on you for reasons that make no goddamn sense whatsoever. So be careful dealing with these in-laws and what type of information you trust with them, because very rarely are they keeping it to themselves, honey. They going back telling them that ex-wife, that baby mama, all kind of stuff, okay? She be knowing all your business. So, honey, don't confide in these in-laws too much, especially if you've been burned before, you know what I'm saying? So be very careful. And you have some in-laws who are really cool, who are mature enough to still have a relationship with the ex and still have a relationship with you without causing any tension between the both of you. But you just have to use discernment when you giving information. Also, in-laws can be a blessing and they can be a curse. Some in-laws are really a blessing to the relationship. You having a problem, you can call your mother-in-law, call your father-in-law, and they will really honestly and earnestly be there for you. Will try to help the both of you succeed in your marriage, and that's a blessing. It's a blessing if you got a cool mother-in-law, you got a cool brother-in-law, you got cool sisters-in-laws. That is a blessing. If you have a family that's really cool with you and really respects you and welcomes you into their family. And then in some other instances, your in-laws could be a curse. They just create drama, create chaos, create confusion, like to see drama, like to create it. You know, if you've been in the family long enough, you should know by now what kind of in-laws you dealing with. Those of you who are just now getting in relationships, take your time before you get too comfortable with these in-laws. Don't put too much of yourself out there until you really take the time to get to know them, okay? What is killing your relationship? Number 3 killer is exes, okay? Whether baby mama, baby daddy, ex-wife, ex-husband, especially if kids are involved. You have to realize your mate is used to operating with their ex a certain way. Nip anything in the bud that makes you uncomfortable. Boundaries must be established to reduce drama. People need to know their role and stay in their lane. Couple must ensure that no outsider comes between them. This is nothing new under the sun. Everybody knows 9 times out of 10, whoever you're dealing with, they already have some type of past baggage. Let's just face it. In a perfect world, you know, you will hope you meet someone that has no baggage, but that's not going to happen too often. Okay, exes are the #1 killers of relationships. Okay, and especially if your mate had been married to this person, I had a solid relationship with this person, because you have to realize they've been operating with each other a certain type of way for years, okay? And you have to keep in mind that. So even with your new man, you know, by him having a previous relationship with her, you know, he still has not learned and realized that, okay, I have to handle things a little different with my ex. You know, when I was with her compared to how I'm handling it now that I'm in a relationship. Okay. But what happens is, especially women, because again, men, y'all are not as catty. Women, if that woman's been married to him before, she knows him very well. She knows how to manipulate him. She knows how to use the kids, you know, anything. She knows the weaknesses to his heart. She knows what gets to him. You know what I'm saying? That's an advantage for her. And if he's not wise, or if he lacks discernment into knowing when his ex-wife really needs his support, or when she's just using him to get support for her own malicious means, if he cannot read in between the lines, eventually it's going to cause problems with the woman he's with now, you know. And as being a woman in a relationship, that is when you have to step in and state, look, you know, I know you and her have always done this with each other the last 6-7 years, but I'm here now. You know, you're going to have to handle things a little different. It took years for me to really work with my husband and really train him to realize that, you know, certain things he cannot allow her to have control over no more. Okay. And, you know, of course, she had a history with him before me, so she was used to saying things and doing things to get him to the jump when she says how high, or, well, you know, the kids this and the kids that. And because you hear he had been in a relationship with her and he had been programmed to you know, responding to her a certain way, it took time to break him out of that pattern and make him realize that, hello, I'm over here now. No, you cannot just go over there because she's calling you and saying she has an issue. You can't just make decisions with your children and not think it's not going to affect me, especially, you know, if it's going to be something that is going to affect me. You can't just decide that I need to get my kids and move them in because she's having a hard time right now. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but what about me? What about my feelings? Because the changes we make with our exes is going to affect the person you're with. So it's very important and imperative that whatever decisions you and the ex make when it comes to these children, and I spoke on this in one of my videos about step parenting, that you have the respect to at least get a consent from the person that's with you, because they're going to be affected by your decision. This is a #1 killer. It's a lot of exes that have killed relationships, all because people do not know how to stay in their lane. And you as a man, you already know your ex-wife still in her feelings. You know, you being the middle guy, it is up to you to keep both women at bay. from one another. That way, that keeps down the confusion, that keeps down the conflict, and the same thing with women. You know, your ex-husband and your new husband, you know what I'm saying? You have to be the woman, you have to be the mediator. You are supposed to be the mature adult to make sure that you keep both of them at bay. You make sure respect is leveled out on both ends. That way one person don't feel like you respect them more than the other and vice versa, okay? But the main thing is making sure the person that is with you, that's the person you're making comfortable. Okay, because if that person starts having suspicions that you and that ex are doing more or breaking the code or doing things that seems inappropriate or feels uncomfortable to him or her, then you're going to have some problems at home. So you need to keep in mind that exes are also a relationship killer if you do not keep them in check, okay, and keep them at bay. You can't allow them to have too much access to your marriage or your current relationship. Next, relationship killer is number 4, which is sex. Yes, I said it. Sex is a relationship killer because either there's not enough of it or lack of communication about it. Our partner is only concerned with fulfilling their needs. Okay, to go a little deeper into this, we need to realize that ladies too often use sex as a prize or award for good behavior. Like a teacher rewards a kindergarten with animal crackers or stickers for good behavior. The cookie is often used as a reward or punishment, which is childish and unfair. Women, we all are guilty of this, even myself, okay? You know, you and your husband, you and your man having a bad moment, something he did you didn't like, or there's been some type of issue and, something came up, because there are agreements are bound to happen. And unfortunately, now that you're in your feelings, your man tries to be intimate with you. Your man, one is in the mood, but because you're in your feelings, you intentionally deny him. Because you're pissed off and you want to prove a point by holding back the cookie, okay, keeping the lid on the cookie jar tight. You put the lid tight on there. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not holding back because you really tired, had a long day, or you may be having you and your cookie may be going through a thing or whatever. You just intentionally holding back to punish him because you pissed, you and your feelings. And keep in mind, it's a dangerous thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you do it all the time and you do it too often. You don't have to give in every time. You know what I mean? But when you intentionally hold back your cookie as a game, using it as a weapon, keep in mind that you're opening the door to having some problems that you're not going to be prepared to deal with. Because unfortunately, and I'm not condoning these men, but it's an old saying, they don't get it from home, they're going to get it from somewhere else. I know it's unfair, and I'm not condoning you men, because my thing is, just because you can't get what you want from your wife, that don't make, or your mate or your woman, that don't mean you're privileged to go step outside of your marriage or outside of your committed relationship and get it from somewhere else. Because you feel like, well, I'm a man, I got needs, she know how I am, you know what I'm saying? It don't go that way, you know what I'm saying? The good roll with the bad, you know what I mean? Because it's been too many men who have done that. And if some of you guys, y'all may be man enough to admit it, if you man enough to admit it and go there, comment, you know what I'm saying? How many men have stepped outside of their relationships or their marriages and have paid the price? Too many people making permanent decisions based on temporary circumstances, all because you can't get what you want for the moment. So you go out there, end up linking up with some broad that's crazy as hell, possessive, or things went way too far, you missing got her pregnant, all kind of things come out of stepping outside of these relationships. And you got to be careful, because sometimes you bite off more than you could afford to chew, you know what I'm saying? But again, you ladies, you need to stop using the cookie as a reward or punishment, okay? Because his check was short and you couldn't go get your nails done, okay? Now you done put your lid on your cookie jar, because his paycheck was big this week. Now you want to give him give them some cookies. I mean, stop playing games with your cookie, okay? I mean, it's just childish, it's immature, you know what I'm saying? Just keep in mind when you do that, you opening doors to other things, okay? Because like we can get vulnerable sometimes, women, believe it or not, men could get vulnerable too, okay? They may act macho and big and all egotistical. Inside they could be like, look, they could be just the softest damn cottonelle tissue, okay? So, you know, you got to be careful. Don't play games, all right? This is the issue with you men, okay, when it comes to sex. Men have to learn that they can't use sex as a band-aid. You can't think that putting it down in the bedroom is the solution to the problem at hand. I noticed that some men would rather sweat it out in the sheets than actually talk about it. Yes, a lot of y'all don't do it, but a good bit of y'all do. It's too many men that want to use sex as a band-aid. Okay, you have some men that would rather jump in a sack and work it out than actually sit down and communicate, because men hate to hear these deadly words. We need to have a talk. Men cannot stand to hear that. Once they hear that word, it's like, you know, all bets are off, okay? You know, and it's sad that, you know, you have some men that are programmed to only dealing with their woman. You know, they can only connect when it comes to the bedroom. And that's very sad if you have a relationship where the only time y'all seem to connect with each other is if y'all got to be in the physical act of having sex. You have to be able to connect with each other other than just sexually. You have to be able to connect with each other mentally and emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Because let's face it, whether you want to believe it or not, sex gets old after a while. If that's all y'all have to offer to each other, if that's all y'all can provide to each other, it is going to get old and tiresome real quick, okay? You got to be able to connect other than just in the damn bedroom, okay? You're going to have some situations. You're going to have some trials and some tribulations. That's going to cause for more than just some climax, okay? A quick climax, okay? Y'all going to have a real solution, some real answers. Y'all going to have to resolve some real situations out there. Do not think you can always overcome your problems and your issues by jumping into sacks and banging it out and sweating it out. You're going to have to learn how to communicate like two human beings. Sex does not solve every issue or every conflict, okay? So don't use sex as a band-aid every time there's an issue. Keep in mind, sex is not just sex. Sex is a glue that keeps a relationship solid. This is what people are not understanding. Sex is more than just a sexual act. Sex is supposed to be like a covenant in a relationship. That it kind of it's supposed to be like an adhesive. It's supposed to solidify. Make your relationship solid. It's supposed to bring a closeness to you, okay? It's what keeps the relationship connected. It's more than just you jumping in the bed, you sweating it out, you know, and you climax, she climaxes, and that's it. It's supposed to be like an intimate moment where you and that person you love, not lust, you love, are connecting and keeping that relationship alive. You know, that's what sex is supposed to be about. And keep in mind, there's a difference between sex and intimacy. Anybody can have sex, okay? Sex is a part of intimacy. You know, intimacy comes in the fact that you and that person, not only are y'all able to connect sexually, but in the midst of y'all connecting physically in the act, y'all are connecting mentally, y'all are connecting spiritually, and that is what keeps the relationship going, okay? That's what keeps the relationship pure. When you are connected in all three of those areas just between you and that individual. That's what makes that's what sex is really supposed to be utilized for. And the fifth issue is married or committed people behave like they're single. Okay? This is definitely a big issue. This is a relationship killer. You have too many married committed people that still think they could do what single people can do, and they cannot. Too many people want the benefits of a relationship, but rarely want the responsibilities. You can't be committed or married and still feel and act like you are entitled to make whatever decisions you want without weighing how your selfish motives will affect the person you're with. You can't spend money how you want. You can't purchase big investments without consenting with your partner. Too many married, committed folks are making single folks decisions. But when they screw up royally, they expect the partner to bail them out. I have numerous girlfriends that have gone through this. It is too many married or committed individuals that are making single person choices. Okay. You have some men out there who feel like because they are the providers or they the ones that bring in the majority of the bread, they feel like they can spend that money how they want to spend it. The wife bet not dare question what they buying, what they doing with it, where the money is going. She's supposed to be quiet, not say a word, don't question him. He does whatever he wants to do. Same thing with women. You got some women who make their own money and feel like this is my money. I'm independent. You don't tell me how to spend my money. You don't tell me what to do with my money. I do what I want to do. If y'all are married or if y'all are committed, no, you don't get to do what the hell you want to do. Because guess what? Because both of y'all are in a relationship together, when you make a decision without consenting with your partner and that decision does not work out or something goes wrong, that person that you're with, they are affected by it as well. Okay, that's like you know, getting a $30,000 check that you won or whatever from a drawing or some lotto or something like that, and you feel like you won that money or that money is yours. Okay, you're not mature enough to sit down with your partner and say, look, okay, I ran into some money, you know, a couple of things I've been thinking about doing, a couple of things I've been looking at investing my money into, but you know, I want to get your opinion. What do you think we should do? Do you think we should invest into getting another home or fixing the home where we are? You know, get your partner's advice. They may actually be able to get enlighten you on things you didn't even think about. You know, you're not even considering. They may open your eyes to things or vice versa. Now keep in mind, I understand that every man, every woman has their own personal little savings, own personal checking that wife or that husband knows nothing about. That's that little personal stash. Yes, you can be in a relationship and have your own money. You have your own stash. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The only time I have a problem with a man or a woman holding out on their money and stashing it on the side is if they know their family is suffering. Okay, if you know you're about to get put out your home, if you know your car is about to be repossessed and y'all have children together, if you know that your lights, your water, your gas about to be turned off, and you so selfish and you got this attitude, well, it's my money, oh well, they're gonna have to find a way. No, y'all both are suffering. You live there too. You're gonna be sitting in the dark too. You're going to be without transportation too. I mean, realize that when you hold back on your partner, you are suffering as well. You losing out as well. There's so many relationships out there where people feel like they are getting over on their partner because they are holding back. All right. Not only you hold back from your partner, but you're holding back from yourself. I've seen so many people get lucky. God blesses them with a lump sum or they run into some money, and as soon as they get that money, they show their ass out. You know what I'm saying? Don't look out for their partner. You know, don't include their partner. End up losing all the money. Now they back to square one. They have nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be careful when you make decisions. You're making these single people decisions. That's something single people do. Because guess what? When you're single, you don't have to consent with nobody. You don't have to check with somebody first before you make a decision. And that's fine because you're single. But you got married and committed people that are making single people decisions. You cannot do that. Okay, you have to keep in mind you are with someone else who is affected by the dumb crap that you're doing. Okay, at least if they know about it and it fails, they'll be more willing to step up and help you out, even if it goes wrong, because you did consent with them. And it was something y'all both agreed upon. But how dare you step outside your relationship, make a messed up decision without consenting with your partner, and because it became an epic fail, now you want your partner to step in and help you be the cleanup man and be the janitor. You know, help you clean up your mess that you created that you should have not excluded them from in the first place. Maybe they would have gave you different things to consider to look at, to make you reconsider, like, you know what, I may need to hold off on that. Some of y'all get $1 in your hand, or opportunity comes to you, you just go straight local. You don't give a damn who you affect, who loses in the process of you making poor decisions or poor choices. And it's so unfair. The 5 things that I have listed to y'all as relationship killers. The first thing, like I said, was money. Second thing was in-laws. Third thing was exes. Fourth thing was sex or intimacy. Fifth thing was being married or committed, but still you behaving like you single. Okay, so I say I'm going into 55 minutes, so I'm gonna have to cut this video short and leave off with the next 6 relationship killers, because I believe I had 12. So I got 6 more that I'm gonna have to do a part 2 on for relationship killers. What is killing your relationship? Okay, I got 6 more things that I'm gonna put on part 2. So if you want to find out the next 6 things that are the possible causes for relationship killers, then tune in to part 2. Okay, again, I would like to get y'all opinion on the 5 things that I have listed so far. Do you agree? If so, which one of those 5 things I listed to you has affected your relationship, has made you lose your relationship? Are you dealing with that right now? Please share with us. It's somebody out there who's probably going through the same thing, And again, I definitely want to get your feedback. All right, don't forget, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody out there who's going through this struggle. They need to hear this word, y'all. It's for free. You ain't got to pay for it. It's your girl, Lady Mocha. I'm always going to pour you a cup of truth, and I'm always going to break you off a slice of knowledge. And I thank y'all for tuning in to part 1 for relationship killers. It is your girl, Lady Mocha. Part 2 will be coming soon. Love you guys, and y'all take care. Have a blessed one.